Good morning, good people of the world. Yeah, I just wanted to chime in a little bit. Really ain't got too many jokes today. I kind of watched the movie Alice the other day. And anybody ain't seen that movie? Watch that movie, man. Cause me and a couple of my friends had a deep conversation about just how they had our our ancestors, our elders, so scared to scared of change pretty much, you know what I'm saying? They in this movie they had a whole group of black people still enslaved in 1972, I think it was 1972. Slavery was abolished in like 1860 something, 1865 I believe, by Abraham Lincoln. So this was almost like probably 100 years, over 100 years after slavery was over, that these black people, they were never released when slavery was abolished. The slave masters basically just didn't tell them that they were free, you know, kept that a secret. And it was real easy because back then, you know, all they had to do was keep them from seeing TV, keep them from having any contact outside of the plantation. And it kind of like trickled into, I mean, more recent society, you know. Not too long ago I saw a small documentary. I think I saw it on YouTube or something, to where I think it was back in even the 90s. It might have been down in Alabama or Mississippi that they had some people living pretty much as slaves. Like, they were paying these people to keep it legal to say that they didn't have any slaves, but they was paying them so little that they couldn't afford to go anywhere else and live and buy their own food and take care of themselves. They were still solely depending on these people that they were supposedly working for, just because they didn't know no better. Like, they didn't have, like the slave owners basically brainwashed them to make them think that they were really getting taken care of. Yeah, they would try to make these people feel like they're family, but they're slaves. I think it's just sad. Like, and the reason why I'm saying it's trickling into like modern day is, like, when you become a boss, when you become somebody's supervisor, that's when I really kind of noticed that they only want you to reach a certain level. Like, they want to keep you at a certain level, and they want to give you enough to make you feel like they're taking care of you. But in the end, they know that they're holding you back. Like, you know, my friends mentioned that, like, her grandmother and grandfather were working for a nursing home for years, and they worked for that nursing home like over 50 years. Okay, when they started working at the nursing home, they was probably getting paid like $1 an hour. By the time they retired, they were still only up to 13. After 50 years, they were still up to $13 an hour. In this old couple's mind, they felt like they were successful, making $13 an hour. And it. I mean, they were kind of successful because they didn't have no motivation and didn't know that they could do something better. They could have owned that nursing home. They were running it by themselves. They were the grandma was the nurse. The the grandfather was basically running the whole place. You know, they had gave her a test to be a CNA, a certified nurse. She took that test 30 years before, found out because once they now had to change her role, they had her doing being the nurse, washing clothes, and also basically doing other duties. She was doing 3 jobs in one, basically keeping their business going. But to keep her where she was at, they never turned in her CNA test. So all those years they were telling her that she was a certified CNA. She was depending on them to put her test stuff in and get certified. And she thought she was for all those years. And when it come to find out, when they had to make some changes, and I think maybe one of the owners, original owners, died, and the younger people took over. They basically looked at it, was like, "Oh, you're not even a certified CNA. So yeah, we're gonna have to demote you." So they basically told her, "Yeah, she's demoted because of what their parents or grandparents did years ago. Didn't put her test in, didn't certify her, basically to keep her there." Yeah, she went through all the training, learned years of experience of being a nurse, taking care of people. And yeah, just because they didn't want her to be successful and start her own business or go somewhere and make some more money, they kept them. They treated them real good. It's like a sheep in wolf clothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, did I say that? A wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm sorry, I said it backwards. A wolf in sheep's clothing. That's what they do though. Like, I noticed with a lot of the businesses that I worked at, they talk to you real good, make you feel like they need you and this and this and that. But if you ain't doing what they want you to do, they gonna put that pressure on you. I had that same kind of experience myself. I worked at a warehouse for like 9 or 10 years. I might have already even told this story, but when I walked out and quit, it reminded me that Alice, when she ran through those woods and found that dang on highway and seen this big ass semi coming at her. That's kind of how it was when I walked up out of there. They made me a supervisor. They started pressuring me. And because I wasn't doing it like the way they wanted to do it, they didn't like me. So yeah, I packed my stuff, walked up out of there, got out of their way. But it was the best feeling of freeing myself I ever experienced in my life. Like, it was the most gratifying experience because these people wanted me to be a slave master, pretty much. They wanted me to target all these people that had been working under me and I had got close to all these years. They wanted me to start targeting them and pressuring them. They was trying to turn me into, that one, because you know how the slave owners always had that one black guy that was supposed to be keeping all the slaves in line, that one Negro. Yeah, they wanted me to be that, but I couldn't. Like, I'm just not that type of dude. Like, if y'all didn't want me in this position, why would y'all even give me that opportunity? You think you gonna change somebody to be the type of person that you want them to be. That's just unfair, man. Sheep in wolf's clothing. The guy that actually helped me get that supervisor position was the main motherfucker that helped me walk up out of there. He was the one that put the pressure on me. Like, as soon as he gave me that position, he turned it right back around on me. And now he's telling me who I had to be to keep this job, basically. Nah. I got this job because who I was. You know, I'm qualified for that job. So, yeah, you can't change me into what you are. You hire me, you should trust me, just like you trust all them white bums that was getting hired before me. They was straight bums, man. They was hiring motherfuckers off the streets from other warehouses that knew nothing about our warehouse and wasn't telling them nothing, wasn't on pressuring on them. And then as soon as they gave me the position, now here goes, let's put some pressure on the supervisor now. Yeah, and it's all because I was pretty much initial in getting a lot of people fired, and yeah, they were scared of that. You know, they feared me. I had a nice connection with the CEO of the company. They didn't like that. She knew who I was. She loved me. And I could have probably got them fired too. But at that point in my life, like, I seen the structure. You know, I seen the captivity I was in. I felt like I was in prison at a job. You know, they call it dead-end jobs, to where they make it to where there's no way out. You depend on it because you got to pay for your kids. You got to pay for your house, and you got to eat. You got to pay for your car note. But, yeah, I mean, I found out that, hey, they couldn't hold me back. Position I'm in right now, if I had never walked out of that place, I'd have never been in it right now. And I love my position. I'm working for one guy, and he loves me, and I love him. It's hard to find a job that you really get love from a motherfucker, that people really care. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that. And honestly, I told myself I probably will never work for another person. You know, after I get done working for him, it'll be only working for myself, you know, because I feel like if I could come in and run other people's businesses and be the boss and run their shit, why can't I run my own shit, you know? So just, you know, it's kind of deep and kind of motivative at the same time, but yeah, I mean, there's a way that they are still trying to enslave us, man. Like they're trying to keep us in the same spot, man. So just don't never get too asphyxiated where you at, you know. Always strive to be better. If you can do something on your own, that's the best way, you know. But yeah, they try to limit us to education, and that's what it was, you know. These people didn't even have access to books, access to TV, access to there was no social media or anything back then, so there was no way to even find out. Like, they were so deep in the woods that, yeah, they didn't know. When she seen the concrete on that highway, she didn't know what that was. All she knew was dirt and woods and picking whatever she was picking. And that's all. So yeah, it was just kind of deep. And like I said, even into the, you know, the 90s, shit was still going on, man. Like, they still had these people that they were paying so little, they had, all they had to wear was like potato sacks, burlap potato sacks. They had them in potato sacks in the 90s. That's how they did. That's how they was doing us. Like, you know, these people were so trusted in this family to take care of them just for them to survive. And the way they did it was basically just didn't give them no motivation of telling them that they could be anything else other than, you just depend on us. We'll bring you this slop to eat. You know, they was damn near eating the shit living with the motherfucking pigs. They was living in the shacks with the pigs and shit in the 90s. Shit's crazy, man. Like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough, you know. It's kind of tough to know that there was people that evil in this world that even after they got freed, the slaves got free, even after, they still couldn't give it up. They still couldn't give up that control. Like, damn. Like, is it that deep, man? Like, these people, and they were still like beating them and stuff, just like regular slaves. Like, I mean, the people didn't know no difference. That's their life. And it's because just because of some miscommunication, yeah. And it's crazy, man, because it seemed like they should have sent like people around, like when slavery was abolished, they should have sent people around, make sure all the slaves got free, man. A lot of them didn't get free, man, until later. That shit's crazy, bro. But I just want to put that on everybody's mind, man. Like, yeah, that slave shit is real, and I feel like it still exists, honestly. You know, I don't want to, y'all know we ain't free. Just keeping it real, man. Like, I know I ain't free, man. Like, if I was free, I wouldn't be having to, fight for my freedom just because I took a drive down the highway. You know what I mean? Yeah, how's this freedom, man? How's this life? You know? If I was free, I wouldn't have to deal with all the illusion, that they put in all of my people's minds. They kind of take our women and they get them kind of, I get them kind of dependent on them, especially statewide and maybe government-wide too, because, the less money you make, the more you get back in taxes, and it's a trick, because if you make a certain amount and have a business, you get a tax break, so you're paying less. But they don't tell these people. They give them this $10,000 a year, and they feel like that's life. Like, come on, man, $10,000, man, that shit ain't gonna last a month, ain't gonna last a week. Come on, man, society's crazy, man. So yeah, man, it's all kind of mental slavery going on now. I mean, we ain't physically in chains. They can't beat us no more legally, but they trying to beat us with their minds, man. So just tap in, like, recognize this shit anything that you doing over and over again and it's keeping you in the same place, man, that's slavery, man. Just think about it. Shit. Strive for more. Do more. Don't worry about, the stability, you know what I mean? Because when you go through hard times, it just makes you tougher. You might have to branch out and go through some struggle to get where you need to get. But you got to free yourself, free your mind. That's pure OG. I just wanted to holler at y'all. I hadn't said nothing in a long time, man. I'm going through a lot, staying busy, staying working, trying to better my life, and trying to take care of the kids, That's what we do. So, yeah, y'all have a good day. Holler at y'all later. Yup.